Hi friends, thank you so much for watching. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now about Alzheimer's disease. I'm going to be walking for Alzheimer's on May 27th here in Montreal, and rather than talk about my experience with it and my story and why it's so important to me, I actually really want to talk about why it should be just as important to you and to everyone else, because I feel like there's just a really big misunderstanding and misconception about the disease, and I kind of just want to bring Alzheimer's out of the shadow a little bit and talk about it. I think first and foremost, it's often seen as just kind of this natural part of aging. You know, as we get older, of course, we, are not as sharp as we once used to be, but that is not what Alzheimer's is. Alzheimer's is really a disease that essentially eats away at your brain until there's basically no part of you left. You no longer recognize your surroundings, you no longer recognize the people you love, you no longer know who you are, and it's really, really sad. And it's just not something I think that we should come to expect at the end of our life. I think a lot of people think of Alzheimer's and they think of someone who's in their 80s and their 90s in a nursing home at the end of their life, and that's so not the case. The majority of cases, you can be diagnosed as early as 65. Those are supposed to be your golden years. That's when you retire. And with early onset Alzheimer's, you can be diagnosed as early as your 50s or your 40s, which is crazy. That is the middle of your life. Just the way society, even now, we place such an importance and a focus on physical fitness and wellness. And why should our expectations for mental health be so different? I don't think most of us really even understand how many people are actually affected by Alzheimer's. Globally, it is the number 7 cause of death, and in the top 10 killers, it is the only one that does not yet have a cure. It does not even have any kind of prevention. You have more likelihood of getting Alzheimer's than you do of breast cancer, of prostate cancer, and these are causes. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, heart disease, these are all things that we see so many initiatives for, and we've done so much good for, and have had so much progress. And of course there's always more progress to be made, but there's been so much money raised, and because of that we've seen improvement, we've seen progress. We see the death rates going down. Alzheimer's, it's not only still going up, but it's going up so significantly. In I believe it's in 2050, there are supposed to be 3 times as many people who are to get Alzheimer's than there were as of a few years ago. So it's growing, and it's very serious. And you may not have been affected yet, fortunately may not have had anybody in your family affected, but by the time 2050 comes, at that point my parents could be affected. I'm going to be nearing the age where I can be affected. It is something that I think as younger generations, it's hard to connect to, and that's totally understandable and it's totally normal. That's where I want kind of to have this conversation and make this change and bring this out of the shadows, like I said, because now is the time to do something and to find this cure, because I want us to be able to find a cure long before I ever have the chance of developing this disease, long before my parents ever do. Because also, by the way, and this is a whole other thing I'd love to talk about, but being a caregiver for someone with Alzheimer's is so painful and so difficult and so stressful, both emotionally and financially. And again, even that's a whole other side of it. The costs, just even on the economy, that this disease has is huge. And if there had been a cure now, maybe my grandfather would still be alive, or at the very least, he would not have suffered the way he did in the last years of his life. All this to say, I wanted to make this video very brief, but it's very hard because there's so much to say about it. But if there's anything you take away, just understand what Alzheimer's is. This is not a natural part of aging. This is not something we should just expect. This is not something that we should be ashamed to talk about. It's a disease, and we can find a cure. This is not something that we should just accept. And of course, if you can donate, that's so amazing. That's what we need. Even $5 makes a difference. Even $1 makes a difference. Or donating your time, or just spreading the message, because maybe you will reach somebody who does have the means to donate in a significant way. So if you've listened till now, I appreciate it so much. I will put the link to my donation page, and I will also put a link to a video about Alzheimer's if you want to be a little bit more informed. And oh yeah, I also wanted to show this photo of my grandfather, me walking for him, and I'm going to be walking for us, because I don't want any of us to experience what he did at the end of his life. So thank you so much for watching.